It goes back to my childhood years. My parents, being immigrants, had the great fortune of benefiting from many social service programs in our community. And I have many memories of waiting in lobbies with them to meet with folks who were going to help connect them to the various social services in the community to assist us. And so I remember that there was a lot of help available to us, but also enrichment programs available to the children of these families, and I was one of them. And then moreover, in education, I was one of many children who was a member of a bilingual education program, which differed from English as a second language program. That program was grant funded, and it was a pilot program, and was reliant on the attendance and the enrollment figures from minority students. And so the people who started the program were pioneering, and they went to great lengths to ensure that the students who sometimes couldn't make it to school got to school, in as far as picking us up themselves. And so in that time, we had time to talk and get to know one another. And here I was as a child meeting these executives who were running a program to change English as a second language to bilingual ed, which ultimately meant retaining your native language and also assimilating into the American culture. And so it made an impact in me at a very young age that these people were available to me to make a difference and invest in me and cared enough about me to pick me up and take me to school. And those people were public servants in the world of education. And I see that as a very significant impact, because if not for that program, I would not have retained my native language. And then in addition to that, I grew up in the city of Fremont, California, and I had the great fortune of serving the Youth Commission of the city of Fremont. And that was my first exposure to access to government at the local level and representing the constituent youth voice in that city. And I realized that there was an opportunity and a place for me in government to influence and represent the needs of youth. And putting all those pieces together made me realize that there is a wonderful opportunity to continue to serve not only minorities, but just members of communities that continue to impact youth and other people that come after us. And so for me, government service is a way of life. It's what makes a difference in the lives of many people. It's what made a difference in my life. It's the reason that I'm here today, and the reason that I believe I am a successful statistic in terms of the number of minorities who are successful in academia and also in the professional world. I do have a project that I'm most proud of, and I think I'm proud of it because I have personally grown from it, and I also believe that many members of our community have grown from it, particularly our youth. And I think that that's really important, given my previous experience as a youth commissioner many, many years ago, and reaffirming to youth that access to government is really, truly, genuinely there for them, and that they can be a part in influencing services and programs in their communities. City of Pleasanton updated its youth master plan about 10 years ago, and so 10 years, fast forwarding 10 years, we had a need to update the plan again, and the question was, how are we going to do that? And how are we going to do that in a way that was real to the community? And our community has a long history of engaging youth and providing very, very high level of service to the families at Pleasanton. But we genuinely really wanted to get out there and connect with the community and make sure that this was a process that belonged to them. I had all these resources in front of me, and it was a 26-member body that I was working with, made up of youth and adults from our community, from the faith community to nonprofits to the business sector. But the gems of that project were our youth, and they didn't know how to do an update. They just had opinions, and they wanted to tell someone about it. And they knew that they had friends who had opinions. And so with a lot of work and dedication and many after-school hours spent together, we bonded. We became a great working team, and we shared stories and meals and long evenings creating surveys, questions that would evoke thought and meaningful discussion for their peers, and identified a series of several focus groups where we could go out and engage the community. I could see the change in them and the growth as the conversations were going on. The youth began to realize that they could ask follow-up questions, that they didn't have to keep the questions that they had in front of them, that that they could engage in more meaningful discussion, that they could debate, that the debate was something that was going to give them a better product. And you could just see them light up and develop. The treat for me is that the youth in the community now know where my office is. They have access to the city manager's office, and many times department heads come looking for me, and I'm sitting on the other side of the desk, and the youth are sitting at my computer, or they're hanging out, and we're engaging in dialogue about what a typical day is like in local government. We're engaging in dialogue about a controversial project in the community, and they want to know more about it. And to me, that's an aspect of my career that I will always look back on as a successful moment.